Welcome to Miss Mo Storyteller. I am your storyteller, Mo Reynolds, and together we will travel the world with stories. No passport required. Let's get going. Before we begin today's story, we are going to breathe like a cloud. I want you to close your eyes and imagine a big, soft, white, puffy cloud high in the blue sky. And every time you breathe in, the cloud goes high, and every time you breathe out, the cloud sinks low. And we're going to take 2 big cloud breaths. You ready? Breathe in. Up goes the cloud. Breathe out. Down goes the cloud. One more. Breathe in. Up goes the cloud. Breathe out. Down goes the cloud. Very good. Let's begin. You know what to do. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go with Miss Mo. 2 more. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go with Miss Mo. Last time. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go with Miss Mo. Shh. All the tiny spider could do was tremble. The enormous snake was coiled, his head reared, ready to spring. Yosaku, the farmer, was working nearby in the field when the snake caught his eye. He looked and he followed the snake's gaze until he witnessed the shaking spider. Yosaku didn't live with his wife anymore, but when she was alive, she never let him kill the spiders. I like the way they move, she said. They eat the other bugs in my garden, she said. And so she would always make him scoop up the spider and take them outside if she ever found one in the house. And Yosaku knew what his wife would tell him to do. He ran over to the snake and scooped it up with his shovel. He threw it over his head and towards the river. Then he gently picked up the little spider and placed her on a tree, so she could keep a wary eye out for the snake and get a rest. When Yosaku turned to return to the fields, a little movement caught his eye. He looked, and he swore that it looked like that little spider had given him a thankful bow. Spiders are very polite, you know, especially Japanese spiders. 2 days later, Yosaku was in his kitchen making breakfast, and he heard a knock on the door. He opened the door, and there was a lovely young woman. She was about the age his daughter would have been if he and his wife had been able to have children. The young woman bowed politely and asked Yosaku if he needed any help weaving the cotton from his fields into fabric. Yosaku knew how to grow cotton, but he did not know how to weave cotton. His wife had always done that. He said yes, he needed the help. And the young woman offered to weave all of his cotton for just 2 meals a day. She would work through lunch and a place to sleep. He thought that was a very good bargain, and he welcomed her in. He took her to the weaving room that was filled with piles of clean white cotton and a huge loom. He gave her breakfast, and she began to weave. He didn't see her all day. He just heard the whirring of the loom from the weaving room. At night, she came out and ate dinner with him. And then she led him to the weaving room to show him what she had done, and she had done a lot. Where there had been piles of fluffy cotton, there were now gently folded piles of beautiful cloth, enough to make 8 to 10 gorgeous kimonos. Yosaku looked at that cotton and thought how much money they would fetch at the market. But how? He said. How? I've never seen anyone weave this quickly, this perfectly. How did you do it? The young woman simply bowed and whispered, "Do not ask me again, and when I am weaving, never come in." Yosaku agreed. The next few days They did the same thing. She ate breakfast. He brought her cotton. She weaved all day. At night, they ate dinner. She took him to the weaving room. More and more piles of beautiful cloth. And every night he would ask, how? How? And every night she would bow. Do not ask me again. And when I am weaving, never come in. Yosaku wanted to respect her privacy, but he also really wanted to know how she did it. And so one day, as he heard the loom weaving the cotton, he snuck around to the back of the house and found a small window that peeked into the weaving room. He stood up on his tippy toes and had to stop himself from screaming. There was the cotton, there was the loom, but there was not a young woman. There was an enormous spider. The spider was gobbling mouthfuls of pure white cotton and spewing them out as string, and then she used her enormous arms to weave it into a perfect cloth. But then Yosaku saw them, the silver markings on the back of the spider. The same markings on the back of the spider that he had saved from the snake. And he knew that spider had used some sort of magic and had disguised herself as a weaving woman to say thank you. And so Yosaku accepted the gift and did not ask to look into the weaving room again. A few days later, she had weaved through all of his cotton. And so he went and he harvested more cotton from the fields, but he was not alone. The snake had slithered back into Yosaku's fields. He wanted that spider. And so he waited until Yosaku turned to pick up a piece of rope, and he slithered into the cotton bale. Yosaku didn't know he was there. He picked up the cotton bale, brought it home, put it outside the weaving door, and knocked to let her know it had arrived. And then he went on with his other chores. When the young woman came out, the snake saw through her disguise, and he sprung out of the bale of cotton. She screamed and turned back into a spider and tried to scramble away, but her belly was full of cotton, and she was moving slowly. Yosaku could not hear her, could not help her, and she ran out down the path past the home, but she was getting slower, and the snake was getting faster, and no one could help her. Except Old Man Sun. Old Man Sun was high in the sky, and he had seen the kindness of Yosaku, and he had seen the gratitude of the spider, and he was pleased. He wanted to help. And so he reached out a bright sunbeam, and he grabbed a wisp of a web dangling from the little spider and lifted her up into the sky, away from the snake. The snake watched the spider launch into the air, and he thought, I give up. This spider has too many friends. And he went to find lunch somewhere else. The spider was so grateful to the sun for saving her life that she began to pull out all of the cotton left within her, and she spun beautiful, white, fluffy clouds like a blanket around the sun. And that is why clouds are soft and white and fluffy like cotton in the bright blue sky. And that is why, in Japanese, the word for spider and the word for cloud are the same, kumo. And perhaps the word kumo can remind us that wonderful things happen when we take care of each other. Thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed that story. What have you done to say thank you to someone? What has anyone ever done to say thank you to you? How could you take care of someone today? I hope you enjoyed the story, and I hope you find a way to take care of someone today. I'll see you next week. For now, keep telling stories. Let's say goodbye. Miss Mo, Miss Mo, Miss Mo has got to go. Two more, Miss Mo, Miss Mo, Miss Mo has got to go. Last time, Miss Mo, Miss Mo, Miss Mo has got to go. Bye!